Welcome, everybody, to In Progress. I'm Sam Gonzalez, Digital Director here at Progress, Texas. And joining me, we have Reagan Stone, our Advocacy Manager, of course. Welcome to the show, Reagan. And Swiss Army Knife, Tatum Owens. Oh, Tatum, I don't know your title. It's so long, and I don't know why we chose that. But utility, Swiss Army Knife, is the best compliment I can give. Now, welcome to In Progress. This is our show where we decompress, complain,
let it go. Breathe in, breathe out,
whine a little bit before the holiday and before the end of, was it scene die? I don't know. I only read it, so I don't know how to say it out loud. Anyway, so much has happened this week, and various degrees of feels. I know how I feel. I don't know how you all feel, but this is our time to express at least one thing that has been going on this week that at the time of this recording could change at any moment. So if anything that we say is as factual as it is up until the moment that we're recording. So just know that when we're upset about something that may have changed, just know that our heart's in the right place.
We're probably still upset about it.
Yeah. But for different reasons, perhaps, or more reasons by the time you hear this. We'll never know. But Reagan, I'll pass it to you because you have been burning on both ends. I know that at Progress Texas. We're a small team, and you have made yourself useful this week.
I swear, the last month I've been like pretty much in every corner of Texas. I feel. Oh, I have. Yeah. The one thing besides, I don't know, driving long distances that's been grinding my gears is just, we are in that last couple of weeks of the Texas Legislature where everything that's going to happen, or not everything, but a lot of the things that are going to happen are like horrible, worst things ever. I mean, we're not necessarily going to start off with saying like people are going to lose healthcare, that there's not enough money for public education, that all those things. We're going to
say that. We're going to say that. We're not going to start with it.
Yeah, but I'm going to start
that would be
with
depressing.
That would. But something also maybe depressing or won't let you help with your depression is old Dan Patrick doesn't want you to be able to celebrate 5 p.m. on a Friday or whatever else, as far as Dan Patrick has a big old ban on THC coming to a gas station or head shop or a place near you.
Hey, those bongs are for tobacco only. It says it on the paper sign.
Obviously, yeah.
Planet K has definitely upped their game in making sure that we don't talk about weed in their shops. But yeah, and so, I'll say a good friend, I would call her a friend, at least very good acquaintance, Susan Hayes, who ran for agricultural commissioner, I don't know, 5, 6 so years ago. She's been working her butt off and trying to get rid of this Dan ban, running around the Capitol. She was going to save the THC beverages like Tejas Tonic. I am plugging them right there. They actually help out with my wife's art studio. They sponsor their rent there. It's really cool. But they wouldn't be able to do that if they can't sell their very low THC beverages. But everything's going to go away if this ban gets put in. It had a second reading yesterday, I think around 420, which is kind of weird.
Fun. Yeah, they pushed it a little bit. Yeah.
Whimsical to do this.
Yes.
They have a sense of humor in the chamber.
Big time.
That reminds me.
But that's go ahead, Tatum. Sorry.
One of the movies I saw actually on 420 was Cheech and Chong's. It's like last movie. I forget the actual title, but their most recent out. Which obviously, if we're talking about like weed, THC, largely just that topic, they are one of the largest pop culture icon duos. And
they're also a big economic driver in all of Texas right now. Tons of job, tons of revenue, tons of tax money coming in rural places like where I live. We have a couple of those shops around, and they make money for local community sales tax, for people being able to afford rent and raise their children. And I mean, this stuff could go towards like roads, bridges, and education like other states do.
Well, that's the thing. Everything's so awful in Texas sometimes, and then you hear them say, "Let them eat cake," and then they won't let you get high and eat cake. What's that about? Like if you're gonna take away everything, you're gonna make everything awful. At least the recreation that adults choose to do, let them. But no, they don't. Dan Patrick goes, "No, we're gonna ban everything because bans don't work on guns, but they work on books, and they work on THC products, and they work on abortion pills, and it's like, who is this for, and who's benefiting from it? How many
pharmaceutical companies, alcohol lobby, for
the audio listeners, I'm putting my hands into the camera, going, "Yup, yup."
And we're pointing fingers right at them. This isn't like a secret or some conspiracy. It's like they were throwing money at people to pass this.
Yeah, and you see that in the Texas Leg, representatives and senators are across the board kind of like, why are we talking about this at all? Lauren Ashley Simmons put out a tweet kind of joking about how she might not have a lot in common with some of her most conservative colleagues, but they're like this. They're like cross fingers emoji together when it comes to THC, because it is a broad topic and it impacts veterans. It impacts healthcare. There's so much to discuss on it. And so just putting this wide reaching ban on something that helps a lot of people with pain, it's just so reductive. And
dealing with the stresses of the Texas legislature.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. Tell me half of their staffers don't smoke weed or eat it or drink it or consume it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that every single one of those Republican staff people there on a hard day of work, I don't know, maybe their side, they're like super relaxed and chill because all their stuff passes. We're over here just like, God, we got to make it feel better. Because imagine, Republican staffers, they might be chilling, man, because they got their boss is happy. They got billions of dollars from outside billionaires. Shit, man. I'm not saying I'd join the other side, but that must be a pretty halfway decent life right there for a young staffer.
I got a good segue here, Sam. It's kind of towards your regular contribution on these Friday calls. I just want to say that the Republicans and the alcohol lobby and the pharmaceuticals, they put this THC ban, Dan's ban, totally towards saying we're going to save the children. Mm-hmm. Sam, can you correct them? And can you tell us what is up with the children this week?
Oh, wait, no, I was supposed to go last because what's going up with the children is very sad and upsetting. And I didn't want to, once again, we're starting happy. This is our happy start where we talk about THC getting banned. Reagan, I usually yes and, but I'm hiding a facade of a fury. So I'll let you go with
or if he wants to get rid of this or if this
this is staying in. This is staying in. No, because that's how we do it here on Progress Days. We don't lie. But Tatum, I want to pass it to you actually. Yeah. Once again, I am breaking the rules and breaking the fourth wall with all of you. But because I do have some things to say about the children, but not at this moment.
We're gonna
Tatum, what are you on right now?
So, it's just depressing overall. We cannot talk about the children for now. Pause, wait, anticipation, build there, and we can talk about older people. One of the things that happened this week, unfortunately, is Jerry Connolly passed away. And that led to, as many people know, just the worst Twitter discourse that you've ever seen in your life. It's a bad place. It's a bad place. X, formerly Twitter. Sorry. So there's that. But as we're talking about Twitter, I'll actually pivot. And one of the other things that was trending in those same circles, there was a little bit of interconnection that happened there between the topics. But the New York Times put out an article this week on the liberal Joe Rogan, that we need a Joe Rogan of the left. And I think that this pod and largely what we do here at Progress Texas came to confront that void that we've been missing. It's definitely in our fundraising ask, I'll tell you that, because that's what we're doing here. And
that's the thing. If we wanted to be the liberal Joe Rogan, we would have to platform idiots and sit there and just let them spout things and kind of believe everything.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think
I don't want to do that.
This conversation has been so, it doesn't encapsulate what Joe Rogan, the role that Joe Rogan plays in the manosphere, you know, like he is anti-establishment, and people, this article largely focused on who in DNC and establishment circles could be propped up in that. And that's not what he serves. Now he's much more associated with the Republican Party and very much conservative. But he's
which is weird because he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not, like, generally he's not someone who's super conservative, but he will platform these people because they get lots of views and lots of money, as Reagan is signaling. And he'll be like, wow, maybe airplanes do cause cancer. And it's like, wait, what?
Wait a minute, y'all.
Right. Yeah. Right. And it's always done as a question, so he can never be pinned on it. And like, he's like, oh, do they really believe in alien spacecrafts? And it's like, that's not a way to conduct interviews. That's not a way to conduct policy or politics. For Christ's sakes, half disrespect to West Coast champion Gavin Newsom, who's like, I'm going to start a podcast, and then immediately platformed Charlie Kirk.
Like, dude.
And it was like, my son listens to you all the time. And it's like, why?
And why say that?
You're the governor you're the Democratic governor of California. Why is your son rebelling with right-wing media? And like, geez, and I know he dated Goofoil, the other lady who was dating Don, one of the Don's juniors. Yeah. But it's a big mess when that's what we're trying to set up, is being Joe Rogan. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. Joe Rogan is a talented something. I don't know. He's talented. Fear Factor host.
People. Fear Factor was cool.
Fear Factor was cool. Comedian, he's not that good in my opinion. Like straight up stand up. But he's like host wise.
We're gonna tag him on this one, right? I mean,
oh no, I know because I don't want that kind of heat because the defenders are there. I'll say this: we don't need it. We need people that are actually fight back and actually question some things instead of being like, I don't know, maybe science is fake. No, we go like, here, this is why science is real. This is why these things make sense. We're not just guessing. That's the thing that Joe Rogan does a lot of guessing. A lot of assumptions, a lot of listening.
1 + 1 always equals 2. And for some reason, it equals some crazy ass number or aliens.
Something different if you really think
right. Mm-hmm. Right. And it's like maybe Vex, like Bill Burr once had, strangely, Bill Burr has become like a Carlin-esque figure in our modern times. But he was like talking about vaccines, and he's like, I'm not going to sit here without my medical degree, smoking cigars with you without your medical degree to talk about, vaccinations or whatever. And that's how I feel.
A lot of folks have been coming out this week against Trump, and he's trying to like start all these fights with people like Beyonce.
Springsteen, that was crazy. He reposted like an AI video of it. Yeah, we live in crazy times.
Yeah.
What's his name? The man, the dude?
The boss.
The boss. There you go.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I'm from 1990. I don't know the boss, but it's all a big distraction from his big, beautiful bill, which that's not my gripe, but it all happened yesterday, and this is where it gets sad, because yesterday I was just like reading the news because I'm the digital director here, and that doesn't mean I do a lot of work in terms of you guys. I absorb a lot of work to do something intangible, which is make messaging happen. Yeah. And so you have to absorb everything. You have to read a little bit of everything. You have to know a little bit of everything. You have to research. You have to do. So that's like half of my job. That's the majority of my job, actually. And some days you just read so much of it and you you get sad and you're like, okay, so trans people, all 35 of them that it applies to, and there's trans people exist, but the number is not that much of who they're trying to bully into.
Yeah. You have a bill that's introduced into the Texas Legislature that targets like 10 people total. Yeah, exactly.
Right. In sports, but even then, who have their ID changed, that they need to now change back or forward to not vote or to vote because you need to vote with an ID. You look at stuff like that, not to minimize that, but the idea is that it's like, oh my God, that's something. And then you look at this and they go, that's something. And then you look at the big, beautiful bill that's going to take away Medicare, Medi-Cal, every from everybody in the darkness of night. Everyone doing everything in the darkness of night.
Scheduled for 1 a.m.
Right. And then I thought of the children. And that is what got me. Now we're back on the children because this bill, I think it was last week's. It was the one I thought about last week, which was the student funding bill, where they were dragging their feet and they go, okay, we're going to pick up our feet. And as of this moment, what we know now, Didn't they start the bill with $500 per student allotment?
Like
that's what they started.
And then the real thing, the drastic change is like 1,400 would be keeping up with inflation since 2019. Right. So still way below, Sam.
Right. And the latest, like I said, latest as of, and we're recording this noon at Thursday, was $55.
55 bucks. And I think some folks I'll give a shout out to Raise Your Hand Texas, fantastic organization. They're saying it's maybe now up to like 100 something.
I'm not even going to listen to that because I'm going to talk about what happened yesterday. I read $55 and I was like, man, $55 for each student in Texas is nothing.
It's nothing.
And so then I go, well, at least we can get them a backpack. A new JanSport backpack. And I had this thought when I was a little kid. I'm the youngest of four, and my mom and dad both worked. They, at the time, didn't make the most money. You think you're middle class growing up, and then you realize you're not when you look at what that actually accounts for. But we didn't go without, I never went without a meal, never went without toys, never went without Christmas, birthday, all that stuff. But you got 4 kids in school, and you got to buy supplies. And I remember my dad going, okay, I'm going to get you this nice backpack. This is going to last you a few years. It was a JanSport with a leather bottom. 90s. You guys remember the 90s leather bottom JanSport suede.
Nice.
Black. And I asked him, I text my dad. I go, hey, do you remember how much those cost in the 90s? And he goes, I thought it was like 25, 30. Your mom thinks it was closer to 40. I think it's closer to 40. And I go, okay, cool. And so then I go, okay, well, at least we could buy these kids a JanSport leather bottom backpack that will last them a few years. And I Googled it and it was $59.
Yeah. They can't even get a backpack, Sam.
Yeah.
And that made me burst into tears. Like, you know how you hit a day, like you hit those days someday in this work. This work is, we smile and we laugh, but this work is fucking hard.
Yeah.
Some days it's just so fucking hard. And Reagan, you started off with all the losses that we've had this week, the weeks before, vouchers passing. It's going to happen again, and I'm okay with it because men need to cry. Fuck you, Joe Rogan. And you're not crying. You need to cry more, Joe Rogan.
Try it. Yeah.
I think about how important it was for my dad to give me something of quality so that it can last and so that we can have it. And something that was mine. Mm. And I remember writing Gonzalez on the bottom of it in Sharpie because it was mine. And you're telling me we have billions of dollars, billions of dollars in our money, in our fucking war chest for Texas. The money that you put in as a Texan. And we can't buy kids a JanSport backpack, every single one of them in Texas. We can't do that. That's what you proposed, is something less than a backpack. That's the best you got? What are we doing here? What's the fucking point?
Yeah.
You want to privatize our schools. You want to make it to where 2 + 2 = Jesus at those private religious schools that can exclude people of color, people of different religions, people with disabilities, children of disabilities, the most vulnerable people in our society. And you're going to give the ones that are slightly less vulnerable $55. Yeah.
Just doesn't even begin.
Are you fucking kidding me? Mm-hmm. I posit this challenge to all of you. Progress Texas is going to be accepting donations. I want you to donate. I did the math. It's like $2,000 to give 30 students a JanSport backpack. I want you to donate and end your donation with 55 cents. So I know that it's going to go towards that. And if we raise enough money, $2,000, we're going to find a random classroom in Texas and donate brand new JanSport leather bottom backpacks so that we can prove that Progress Texas does more for your kids than the state of Texas can. $2,000. Listeners out there, donate progresstexas.org//donate. Go to progresstexas.org, click the donate button. Whatever you want to donate towards this goal, end it with 55 cents. Just so I know that, because $55 is what they want to give your kids. 55 cents. End it. Get us the $2,000. We'll go and donate a bunch of backpacks. I'll even throw my own cash in there and we'll fill it with supplies. We'll throw some crayons in there. We'll throw some rulers in there. We'll throw some paper in there for next year. And that will be more than what the state is willing to do for your kids.
And I'm going to make some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
There you go.
Why not? Uncrustables. No. We'll give them the Uncrustables. Don't even worry about making the sandwiches. These kids are going to go crazy over the Uncrustables that we're going to give them. my sadness turned to rage. I know that like I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt and we've been talking about Star Wars a lot, but but anger leads to hate leads to suffering, all that stuff. But anger is just sadness. And I was so sad yesterday. I cried. I cried so hard thinking about how my dad, I did the math, $40.98 was $78. So of buying power today. So $78 would be the adjusted price for a JanSport backpacks. They're $59. So they're even cheaper now, and they still don't want to give them. That I know it's just a backpack. But it stands for so much more.
Yeah.
These are our kids. These are your kids. I want to be a father one day, and I want to make sure that they're given everything that they have a chance to have with their school. I can provide what I can provide, but I want my kids' friends to have lunch, to have books, to have shoes, socks. Like, is that too much to ask?
It's not.
Or do we want to give billionaires more money? I know I'm on a rant, but I planned on having this rant because what are Texas Republicans doing for your kids? What are they doing for you? Banning THC because it Joe Camels them because they're saying it advertises to kids. How about you feed them first?
Or,
you can't smoke food.
As we're on a harder topic, we're coming up on an anniversary this weekend for Uvalde folks. And as we've been talking about this, I'm sorry to say it, like all of the backpacks are clear now. That's the security measure that's been put into place, not just legislation to actually counteract, the harm that people with guns do. But yeah.
We'll ban solid backpacks before we ban guns.
Yeah.
And shout out to Senator Roland Gutierrez, who stood up also in the Texas Senate this week, speaking on exactly what you brought up there, Tatum, saying why in the world are Texas senators not doing more to protect our schools, protect the kids that are there?
With material change, not just taking away their books. And coming from one of the largest, I don't think people know this as much as they should, but we have a huge impact nationally on education because we produce a ton of textbooks. And so for us to be, one, censoring so much, two, banning across the libraries we have, and then putting out this material in the first place, like there are national implications to this not being shut down. So absolutely to counteract that.
So we're kind of coming towards the end here. I feel like all of us are like kind of like a big squeegee or like, I don't know, like some sort of like we're going to have to wash all of this off of us. Like we need to wring out our big squeegees and let it go. What are we doing this weekend to just kind of shake off this stuff?
Reagan, I think you start. Like you celebrate your life in the midst. Today's your today, as we're recording, it's Thursday.
The recording.
Spoiler.
I'm not supposed to say that because then I have to repeat my social security number. And then if folks know my birthday, then literally all of my money just magically disappears.
Down the drain.
That's what my mom tells me all the time. Right. Shout out from Reagan's mom for
shout out to Reagan's mom.
Letting me be here.
But make sure what's her maiden name so I know that too.
Sandra.
No, don't.
It is her first name. No maiden name.
Go. Yeah. Okay. Just
God, you and your dog's first name? Yeah.
Sandra and the Family Stone.
Yeah. A childhood street.
Mm-hmm.
Best friend when I was 5. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm getting ready to have a long weekend. I think like a lot of folks here. Memorial Day weekend, I'm going to go hang out, actually in New Mexico. It's not too far from me. There's a little town called Truth or Consequences. I don't know which one I'm going to get. But,
no, I'm sorry. You were like, so what are you going to do for to Texas to unring yourself from Texas politics? I'm going to a different fucking state.
Actually,
I'm getting the hell out of Dodge.
I'm going to go sit in a hot spring in the 70s at some high altitude. No, really, it's like higher elevation, but yeah. We all need to find some time to get out, breathe some fresh air. Are y'all getting any chances? Or are we just all watching Dropout Comedy Channel and hanging out with Sam Reich?
Right.
Because he's cool.
Love it.
And I endorse him.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Tatum?
Not this weekend because I care for myself. I'm not going to Port A this weekend, which is actual Memorial Day weekend. I'm going next weekend. So that way all the other people who timed that, hopefully okay.
The damn college kids. Yeah. Let them have their fun.
That's the one. So this weekend, very chill vibes, just like shutting off all the technology, being present. And then next weekend, we're looking to go hit the beach. One of my favorite places to be Port A. Yeah.
Wear sunscreen, nice. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, Mom. I'll stay hydrated. I'm gonna go get really high and watch Lilo and Stitch.
There you go. And wait, the one, like the new one.
The new one that's coming out. The new one that's coming out.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding.
No, on the topic of everything we've talked about today, very depressing. Go watch Final Destination. That's in theaters now. Bloodlines. I saw it 100%. Great. Genuinely though, like it does honor the series that came before, and I recommend. Yeah. I recommend a lot.
And I think that's kind of like in real life because of all the, less regulations on trucking industry, railroads, I don't know, everything else that they're going to gut and cut from our federal government. There's going to be a lot of log falling off of. Isn't that movie? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Reagan, you did.
Okay, making sure.
You did take my joke where I was going to say, I watched the newest Final Destination by looking out my window in Texas. Anyway, folks, that's it for In Progress. And as you can tell, this episode, our healing is in progress. So be sure to join us maybe next week, maybe never. I don't know. Did I get this episode canceled? Who knows? Will they ever let me host? Find out next time on In Progress. I'm Sam Gonzalez, Digital Director, and passing it to Tatum to say bye to the people.
Bye, y'all.
And passing it to Reagan to say bye to the people.
Have a super weekend, y'all. Take care of yourselves.